Hello and welcome to Cognitions Speaking the Unspeakable with JP
and Stacy D.
I'm JP Craddock and I'm here with the one and only, the lovely Stacy D Love, and we are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
and Wisdom.
You can also catch us on Facebook Live, YouTube, TuneIn, and your smart speakers.
And please like us and join.
Like and join and share and all of those wonderful things. Okay. Coming up on the show today, we have our question of the day, which is, I've fallen in love with my therapist.
Oh, Lord.
Should I tell him in the hopes of possibly starting a relationship?
Well, from the
you about to get into this right now. Don't get deep into it, D. What is your immediate response?
Run. Well, this happened to me before.
I think this is happening.
Almost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It really happened when I was, which I think happens to a lot.
Oh,
when I was the principal, like I literally had to start dressing different.
Well, because
the little boys, but they were acting a whole lot better though.
I have had clients who have had affairs with their kids' teachers, with, the school system. I don't know if it's fair or not. And there was a news story about the teacher in Paola who has gotten arrested.
That's
for
right down the street.
Sexually assaulting several students. But the school system has a negative reputation for being a little loosey-goosey with the boundaries. And so I can see parents, and you was the principal of an alternative school, I can see the parents wanting to maybe hook up with the D to prevent
it was the kids.
The kids?
Yes, I had to start dressing differently.
Oh, hell, we got to go.
But they did. I could go in the room and snap them up. Aye. Yes, said. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It wasn't the parents?
No, well, it was the parents too, but it most
definitely
definitely
was my boys. Because they trying to keep them kids from getting kicked out, because after alternative school, there's nothing.
We was the last shop.
Yes. That will make a parent be like, we need to go up there and flirt with her. The husband and the wife, they like, which one gonna try?
Strictly.
Don't you say that.
Ooh, good catch, JP. Good catch.
Because you will go left so fast.
I know. Okay, I'm back.
Woo, you go left fast.
Well, he didn't want to talk about man or woman.
I'm saying that the husband, the wife, they like, somebody need to go flirt with this principal, because we can't have this heathen home with us all day, every day.
But my attention rates was really high, though.
Of not kicking them out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I was able to go in there.
School was owned by the mental health center. Like,
yeah,
the mental health center doesn't kick anybody out of anything.
Oh, but I did kick a couple of them out, though. But
where'd they go?
That's when they went to the hospital or jail.
Okay.
We were the last. Remember, we was the last point.
Right.
These was the ones that was getting kicked out of. Bridges, and what was the other one?
Oh, they were coming there after.
Yeah, no one came out of regular school. You don't forgot what it has been about 20 years. So.
Well, when they started that school, this is what happened. I'm going to tell the truth, because I don't work there no more.
And neither do I.
Several supervisors had asked me to apply for a supervisor position at the mental health center, and I applied for it. And the director, when they sat down to do their vote, because the supervisors came back and told me what happened. They said, listen, we wanted to give you that position, and he overrode it and said that he had someone else in mind for that position, because the other therapist had applied a couple of times before and had been passed over and had more seniority than me and felt like, okay, it was his turn.
They wasn't better. That's the point.
This is what happened. So he took me to lunch and said, listen, I actually have a better option for you. We are going to be starting a school, and I want you to be the principal of this school. I was so pissed about what had happened that I said,
hell no,
I'm out of here. We was sitting in Perkins on State. I said,
too much longer you were out.
I wasn't playing. I said, I didn't get that position that I was asked to apply for. I'm out of here. I'm going into private practice full time, and this is holding me back from the success I'm supposed to have anyway. I said, so no. I said, and I wouldn't even be able to do therapy in that position, because he was like, well,
No.
you're not going to be able to do therapy. I said, that's what I do.
And that's what you do. That's what you like. Yeah.
And so there was I was like, why would I do that if I can't do therapy? He's like, well, it's a principal position. You didn't give me the position I applied for. I'm out of here. And he didn't believe it, and I was gone right after that. And so that's when they opened the school, and they came to the D, because the D was ready. The D's like,
they came and asked me.
Because what
And
they
then
would do.
Then I outdid your one girl, and she was heated.
Who, somebody else wanted it?
Yeah, your one friend. And she was really heated. Blonde hair. Yeehaw.
You just narrowed that down to about 5 country women at the center.
Tara,
Oh, really?
who I didn't like. Yeah, it was.
She wanted it?
She and I were up for that position. It was like,
Get out of here.
yeah. Oh, she was heated. She was mad.
Well,
But
she did have more seniority.
She had more
but
seniority.
they needed somebody who could handle
Exactly.
a rough
And she
population of
didn't have
students.
that, but she thought she did.
Yeah, but
She
they
didn't. She didn't have the way that I have with them. Because I
Yeah.
can go off on them, and then they still want to hug me.
that was a rough population, and you would have been not. I'm not saying anything against this therapist, but I could see why they felt like you were a better fit, because we in the urban core, and those
Exactly.
are rough
Even the girls.
kids. Yeah, they was all rough. Okay, so yeah. I didn't know the specifics because I rolled out. So I didn't know that it was kids who had gotten kicked out of the other alternative schools.
School, yes.
This must look wonderful on your resume, because to be the principal of that's like a double alternative school.
It is.
It's the alternative school for
For the
kids who couldn't make it
alternative.
in alternative
Alternative
schools.
school.
And for those of you who are not familiar with the school system, alternative schools are for kids who have gotten kicked out of the regular school. Like, the regular school is like, look, we don't know what's wrong with this
So get
human,
the hell up out of here.
but we need this human to go away. Like, and we are probably never letting them come back.
Everyone
So
has
to
an
get
IEP.
kicked, any kid that gets kicked out of alternative school, basically, if it wouldn't have been for the mental health center school, they would just be at home. So you were saving
So-
them from being at home.
Or in the
Jail.
jail or in a hospital.
Yeah. Wow.
So home probably wouldn't have been an alternative because the parents probably couldn't handle them at home.
I will admit, when years passed, I went into an alternative school to do therapy, and the principal was a clinical social worker. And at that moment, I thought I probably should have taken that position to have it on my resume for at
They love
least a couple of years,
They love it.
because it would have allowed me to be a principal of an alternative school after
Right.
that.
Right now, I just had that interview.
Go on and tell everybody what's up, D.
Okay, you guys.
Time for D's check-in.
Check-in.
D got to check in.
D has a check-in. Just recently, literally, they just called me today with the money because we've been going back and forth with money because y'all know how I am about my money. And I just accepted.
You didn't tell our listeners that you was even that you had even applied for a position. They don't know what you're talking about. Right now.
I applied. Well, I was called and asked to apply for a position with the USD 500 school district. I had the interview, but it wasn't a real interview. We sit up there talking about my kids and my grandkids.
When they ask you to apply, they've already chosen you for the position. They just have to go through the process for all the other people
Yeah.
who have applied who are not getting it.
Who's not getting it, exactly. So we just sit up there talking about the kids, the grandkids. They couldn't believe that the twins are driving and, just.
Okay. So the people who interviewed you, you know them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this was assuring.
Yeah.
So, D, go ahead. Tell everybody what your new title is, D. Go ahead.
My new title is Director over Special Ed Services with Social Workers.
Yeah.
Is that
'Cause
it? I
the-
think it sounds right.
Well, the school, no, you got that a little wrong.
I probably
But-
did.
Yeah, but
I never be able to say it right. I just be like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm in the house."
I wasn't going to
And I told them that I cannot be doing all the meetings. And they said,
oh my goodness.
She accidentally said Fig. I'm like, we in real place now. Can't call me full Fig. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, Stacy D. No, Stacy is fine.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
You cannot be full Fig or Stacy D with the school district.
With the school district.
Okay. You are Miss Head.
Miss Head. That's a hell of a name too, though.
But I get to call the D Stacy D. And our listeners.
That's right. Because whenever a man says Stacy D, I'm like, you've been on my radio show.
That's the best way to find out.
That's it. Because you're not one of my classmates.
But you don't watch what you say, regardless.
Sure don't. If you're not one of my classmates, you wouldn't even call me Stacy D. But anyway, so I got the position, director over SPED social services.
Yes.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
You will be supervising all of the school social workers. It's not over school social workers? Wait,
only
G,
the one.
You just said hoes on radio.
I can't say that.
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Barker, can't say that word.
You're going to get us censored again.
Okay. No, I'm only supervising the ones that's in special ed.
Oh, the special education social workers.
That's it.
Okay.
Because there's two different type of social workers.
That's still every school in the district.
Yeah, 500.
Because the only students who need social workers are the special ed students.
No, they're not doing it like that no more.
They
have like 3 social workers in this every school now. That's not
really?
Including the special ed social workers. Yes, because there are so much mental health problems in the schools now.
Yeah.
Children getting killed by drive-bys. Yeah. Children just having issues, period.
And for those of you who are not familiar with how schools work, because most people are like, why aren't the counselors doing the counseling in schools?
That's not what counselors do anymore.
But the counselors do more of the
classes.
They help with academic stuff, preparing kids for college and different things like that. It's not necessarily clinical counseling, because counseling is divided. Counseling is under the Department of Education, but there's the clinical counseling, which is psychotherapy, and then there's like regular counseling, which is what the school counselors are doing.
Exactly.
And so the school social workers are the ones who are typically doing the actual therapy and counseling. Yeah. So for those of you viewers who, were not aware. And
then it's so bad that Children's Mercy has a contract with USD 500, and they have social workers come in. It's really, really bad.
So there's a lot of
mental health
therapy in
USD 500.
need.
Yes.
Wow. So D, are you excited?
Yeah, I really was when I got my package today.
Okay. Oh, the salary package. Okay. So y'all hashed it out. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is wonderful. Mm-hmm. D, this is wonderful. Congratulations to the D.
Thank you.
Mr. Walker, say congratulations to the D. Mr. Walker ain't paying attention. That's why my image is black and white, because Mr. Walker is not paying attention.
I just cannot work under these conditions.
Cannot work under these conditions.
But that showing that I was the principal of Wyandotte Academy most definitely boost that up.
That was your education experience.
That's what that took it over the top.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, this is wonderful. Congratulations, D. Okay. Did you have any other check-ins? Because I got to check in.
No.
Okay. I was almost late to the station today.
What considered late? And he said it was Nadine's fault.
I've never been late.
Nadine, I need you to pop in on us and let us know something, because he said it was your fault.
Mm-hmm. I'm about to tell on this woman. Guess why I was late? Because I was getting cussed out.
Oh, about what?
By a woman who loves to cuss. Cussed out as I was trying to leave the house. You can't leave when you in the middle of getting cussed out. Okay, so here's what happened. How much is life membership for Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority?
Oh, I am a lifer. What did I pay? I paid mine over 10, 15 years ago. It was like 30, like 32. Was it that? I don't know. I have to look back. It was like 3,300 or something like that. How much it was?
Really?
I think
Okay.
so.
Because
I did
they
mine
must
like
have
15 years ago.
well, they must have changed it because what some AKs was telling me is that now for you all, it's like I think somewhere between like around $500, but you have to have been financial for 20 or 25 years straight before you can do it.
Oh, no. I did my life for like 15 years ago.
Okay. Well, here's what
Wow,
happened.
$500?
But I could be mistaken. But
Okay.
and we need an AKA to later to go into the comments and on Facebook and tell us. But so here's what happened. I told this woman as I was heading out the door that I paid for my life membership for Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Now, here's the reason why, because they are about to vote on raising the price
Oh, you need to go on and pay
from
it then.
$3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah. So I think mine was like about 3,000 and something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Hell yeah, you better go on and pay it.
Well, hold up.
Oh,
now
yeah,
they
that's
do
right.
give the option of like a 5-year plan and this and that and this and that. I decided to just sell like $3,000 worth of oil stock and just pay it, right? And so I knew I was going to talk about it on the radio today. So as I was heading out the door, I said, hey, I hollered up the stairs to her. She in her office. Hey, honey, I paid my life membership. She said, oh, how much was it? And I said, $3,000. This woman
She hasn't commented yet.
cussed. She screamed first. And because we're in the middle of doing like home improvements so we can sell the house.
You've been doing that for about 5 years now.
She immediately went into what all could have been with that three. But my point was this. I would not have sold my stock to do home improvements on the house. I never would have said.
It wasn't that important.
I don't sell my stock really for anything. The only time I sold stock was that AMC stock. And it's because it was about to bottom out and I knew it.
We got to hold on.
Walker said,
We got a comment.
This
The
from
first
a customer.
comment is, don't write checks. $, $, shouldn't cash.
I told this woman, but I was saying,
And do a payment plan.
no, but it still would have been $3,000. It just would have been stretched out. Because if I would have done the payment plan, it would have still prevented me from having to pay $5,000. But it still was going to be $3,000. $3,000 is $3,000. And so my thought was, I'm just going to slowly repurchase back $3,000 worth of stock. Mind you, it's my stock, right? And so I was what's wrong with both of y'all? Mr. Walker and the D? What? What's the matter?
How you gonna be mad and take back something that's yours?
It's my stock.
It's not.
Yes, it is. This is my stock.
No, it's
right?
not.
No, it's
Well, this is your radio show because I'm not getting back on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the views and opinions on this show are those of JP and not of KUAW Radio.
what? I don't see what. Let me tell you. To me, this is what the lifetime membership does.
No, we're
It
not talking about
prevents-
the lifetime membership.
What? We talking about my stock. It is my stock. It's my stock. No,
I don't think you're going to be able to come back home.
I bought that stock. I bought that stock with my money. It's out of my pandemic.
And you have my money.
It's out of my pandemic portfolio. Yes. we have an account that's our money, and then we have accounts that are our own money, which is the way that we've talked about on the show for people to do it. Everybody have their individual account. You have your joint account for joint account stuff like the home improvement. See, that came out of the joint account, okay, because that's our money. This is my money that I would have been buying clothes with. Because, I'd have bought a lot of clothes. Yeah. So this is out of my...
JP, you were really wrong.
This is out of my... Well, I'm JP.
She hasn't responded back.
It may sound wrong, but this is JP.
Come on, Nadine. Come on, 'cause I'm on your side. Come on.
So this is what I did when the pandemic started. As you are aware, D, I started up a special pandemic portfolio where I took all my play money. Because, when we had the boys, we spent $800 a month on entertainment activities. Like, that was the recreation budget. Well, they grown and they're gone. And so we locked up in the house for the pandemic. I did something with that money. And I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I do fairly well with the stock market. I'll just say that. D, I done gave you tips on the stock market.
I know. I have my little stuff going on.
Okay. So.
I need some more tips, though.
Oh, well, and see, I got to get back in and do my research and everything because things have shifted. Things have shifted and oil isn't doing so well, which was another reason why out of all my stocks, I chose to sell oil stocks because oil isn't doing real well right now. And so, yeah, that's my pandemic portfolio with the money that I saved during the pandemic while we was locked up in the house. I would not have sold stock to do home improvements. I would not have sold stock for any other reason. So it's really not money that's being pulled from home improvements. So
I'm glad how he was able to flip that and make it sound good.
No, this is the truth. If the woman wouldn't have been cussing and going off, she'd have heard the rest of the story. But I had to go and I needed her to stop cussing so I could leave. So here's my problem, though. Because I did the math and I figured, okay, because the life membership prevents you from having to pay annual dues.
Most definitely.
And so I did the math and was like, if I live to be 84, this is going to save me a couple of grand.
Why you think I paid mine like 10, might have been 10, 15 years ago.
And if I'd have did it 10 or 15 years ago, it was like under 1,500 then.
Wow. No,
when we came out of school, it was like 700. So this is something that consistently increases. I've been in Alpha since 1990. This mess is up to 3,000 and about to go to 5,000. I had to go ahead and get it out of the way. Here's my problem. Now, mind you, my wife is in a sorority. She's still cussing me out. Like she don't know about this mess. Here's my problem.
Now she's finna be a lifer.
She better not run out and spend thousands of dollars on no life membership for no dead gum sorority. Now I know she bet not.
You did it?
Woman better sit. She better go on back to work right now and quit listening to this show because she don't need to be spending thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Oh no,
let's
sorority.
Go to mental health in the news. Well, we have JP for mental health in the news. JP got assassinated in West Heights by a wife and daughter. We do not know the problem, what happened. Someone went crazy and he's on the side of the street right now.
Listen to this. Here is the problem with fraternities and sororities. I'm gonna say black fraternities and sororities.
Step politely.
I don't know if the historically white fraternities and sororities even do this. But here is the problem. My problem is that they call it life membership dues because it's like, why am I paying life membership dues for an organization that I am already a lifetime member of? What they should call it is diamond status.
Ooh, I like that.
Or platinum status.
And I need to be a diamond.
They need to
be a diamond.
Don't you think though, D?
I like that.
Because it sounds silly, that you're paying lifetime membership for an organization that you are already a lifetime member of.
Because I love saying that I'm a lifer.
Right. But it needs I'd rather say I got diamond status. I got diamond status because I paid an additional $3,000. These organizations are expensive because
yes, they are.
To pledge like undergrad now is ridiculously expensive. Like black fraternities and sororities, they cost a lot of money.
But inflation.
Yes, inflation.
Inflation.
Well, it's a done deal at this point. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. When I was on the phone making that payment this morning, I was looking at my portfolio account and I instantly saw that money disappear.
I bet you did.
And I almost screamed. But the little old woman that was helping me on the phone, she sounded like she was 85 if she was a day. And I didn't want to give her no heart attack screaming when I saw that.
Baby, you all right? What you screaming about, baby?
Because I had sold the stock. And so it sits in this little, it sits in this account that you can use a debit card to spend it after it's there. And so it was sitting there, and when it went from $3,017 to $17, I said, oh, I just want to punch somebody for this.
I know.
So, but D, you already did it.
Like 10, 15 years ago.
D, I didn't know.
That
You
was
didn't
money
tell
ago.
me you was a lifetime.
I
You
have,
a
you
lifetime
just
member
forgot.
anyway. Everybody out there listening to the show who is in a fraternity or sorority, you are already a lifetime member. You are a diamond member if you pay the $3,000.
I'm a diamond.
You a diamond, D. Okay. Real quick, we have to acknowledge or discuss Tina Turner died yesterday.
I know, right?
In Switzerland after a battle with cancer. I didn't even know Tina Turner was sick.
She's secretive.
She real secretive. I forgot she became a citizen of.
Oh yes, she gave up.
She rolled up out of here.
She said bye-bye now.
She's like, forget that mess.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was kind of sad. And yesterday
but Ike been dead.
Ike been dead. Don't nobody care about Ike being dead. But yesterday was Patty's birthday, and then Tina turned it out. I was like, oh man, that's kind of, that's probably sad for Patty.
Wow,
Tina died
those
on her
icons,
birthday.
those icons are really leaving us.
Yes, but let me tell you this. Because Nadine, she scared me for a second because she was like, oh, guess who died today? And whenever I think about an old celebrity, I always get scared that something happened to Patty. Right.
We know.
I don't care
No
about
more
no
Patty
other
pies.
old celebrity but Patty. But let me tell you,
She's about one of the oldest ones out here now.
Patty's kicking it. I posted it on Facebook, a picture of Patty is 79. She's kicking off a tour. Patty's about to kick off a tour.
Oh, is
so
it coming down here? Any
she's
close?
still
Is it
working.
Close to around to us?
The
Maybe we need
closest
to
is
take a
going to be
road trip.
Oklahoma.
That's 4 hours away. Let's take a road trip.
We need to go on a road
We
trip
need to do a road trip. Hey,
to see Patty.
we taking Cognitions on a road trip. Are y'all ready?
Oh, we got to take it on the road for Patty. Take it on the
I
road
know.
for Patty.
JP, hook that up.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
We need to do that.
We need to do a road trip
Yes.
to Oklahoma. You know, I got to hook up on hotels and stuff.
It's on. Okay. Here's my next. I haven't even got to mental health and illness in the news. This is just my
what are you
check-in
doing
stuff.
then?
This is just my check-in stuff that I've just been thinking about. Okay. Guess what?
What?
Something else that Nadine cussed and yelled and screamed about this morning. Okay.
What?
This woman just looking for a reason to cuss.
Did you even work this morning for her doing all this cussing?
No, I don't work before the show.
Then why are you always late?
I have never been late to this show, D. I have never once been late to this show. The D has been late.
Technically,
The D has been late.
I have just a couple of times in like 3 years.
I've never
We've
been
been
late.
doing this for like 3 years now.
Yes. And do you know that is miraculous that I have not been late to this show in 3, and I was never late to the podcast.
Okay,
I walked in
listen.
here. It was 2:01 when I sat down, but it was 2:00 when I came in that door out there.
Okay, listen, everyone. To get ready for a successful radio show, you'll at least need to be here 15 minutes earlier just to do your check and
Really
make sure the
30.
cameras and everything.
Really 30.
I know, but our engineers are so wonderful at times. That we can really do a 15-minute check and be here on time. I mean, make it come through and everything. So by you walking through the door at 1:58 is not right.
I got a plan for
it doesn't
us.
matter what
I got a
time
plan
it
for
is,
us,
JP.
and the plan that I have for us is going to require me to be here early. But I'm not going to say what the plan is. But we're going to do something a little different with the show. And we have to anyway, because the D is going to be supervising social workers
I'm the
at this
boss.
time.
Applesauce. I do what I want to do.
You don't get to leave and go do radio shows in the middle of the day.
Indian.
You D.
What?
You talking this mess. You don't get to leave and do radio shows at 2:00 in the middle of a work day. They didn't tell you that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they gonna tell you. They haven't got around to it yet. They assumed that you knew.
Oh, well, we might not be on that job too long.
D, you ain't going nowhere.
If I get a bond, I gotta go.
You don't get to leave and do bail bonding in the middle of the day when you work for the district, D. They didn't tell you that either.
No.
Oh, my Lord. They assumed that you knew. Mr. Walker's laughing like, oh, what are we going to do with the D? Mr. Walker, what are we going to do with the D?
I have not been stuck in an office since 1991.
You are about to be stuck in an office for 8 hours a day.
No. Mm-mm.
They didn't tell you that either.
My ADHD will not handle that.
Do you know half the planet has ADHD? Don't nobody care about that no more. Don't nobody care about that no more. D, you don't even take meds for it.
No, but I self.
No, you don't. You self-manage. You got us off track right now. What are you talking about?
No,
D,
you're off track.
you are not going to be able to leave that job.
I
D.
bet you I am.
Okay, we'll see. Mr. Walker.
I start August 1st. We'll find out.
Mr. Walker, you hear the D saying that she's going to be leaving a job as a director over special education.
Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D.
We're going to see. Listen to this. This is the other thing that had Nadine cussing.
What?
I thought it was good news. Guess what?
What?
We now have bears in Missouri. Bears. There are 900 bears that have arrived in Missouri.
Where?
Mr. Walker don't believe it. He's like, where? Ain't no bears. I ain't talking about in the hood of Kansas City. A bear gets shot around here.
And I make a coat out of them. What?
A bear coat.
They do.
Let me tell you,
Go
you
to
see-
Alaskan fur. They have them. They don't wear
You see
well.
a drug dealer walking down the street with bear fur on. A
Most
bear ain't safe nowhere around here. But listen to this. I promise this is the truth. They said that they are encouraging people to start watching out because we are not accustomed to having bears here. But the bear population has arrived and it is growing. It is up to 900 bears and it is growing at 9% every year. A bear was spotted in Missouri. It got hit by a car and killed because the driver couldn't believe it was the driver was like, what is that? That's the biggest deer I ever seen. And he hit the bear. Yeah. And they showed a picture of one. So I'm like, what kind of bears? Because I think brown bears are bigger than black bears. Is that right, Mr. Walker?
Can we do some research on that real quick, please?
I love bears. The brown bears.
How you love bears? You ever had a bear before?
I will hug a bear in a minute.
Hug a bear. Lord, are we gonna do anything today? Because you are so off topic right now.
No, this is a part of my check-in that I'm announcing to everyone that you need to watch out for bears, but bears have arrived. A bear was hit in a place called Feston, Missouri. They're coming our way. They ain't gonna come all the way to KC though, because the bears have been warned. Like, we ain't going there.
Feston, Missouri. Where is that at?
The word in the woods is don't go nowhere near Kansas City.
It's not even any woods. They're just cutting down all the trees.
Obviously not
everything.
enough because there's bears in the woods. So if you plan to go camping, for those of our viewers and listeners who camp, be careful if you plan to go camping in Missouri because there's bears. And the brown bear they showed, he was big.
Yeah, the brown bear is larger than the black bear.
Yes, because they also showed a picture of a black bear, but he was skinny. And I said, look, he hasn't eaten in a while, clearly. But the brown bear they showed, oh, he was big. He was big. So, yes. So I tell Nadine, I was like, oh, we got bears here. This woman started, she's from Seattle. And so she has had bad experiences because they got bears there. So she was like, that is not good news. I was like, everybody loves bears. She's like, everybody hates bears. I'm like, who hates bears? How can you hate bears? They cute. I hug the hell out of a bear.
Who was the bear that was in the woods, the cartoon? Who was that? Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
And everybody loved Yogi. I
Everybody
forgot
loved
about Yogi Bear. So this woman's anti-bear, anti-lifetime membership dues. She just owned one today.
Talk about cartoons, you guys. So, I have a personal trainer that I work out with Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I know only the old heads is going to understand that. He had us working out on the Pink Panther music. That music is really good. I hate that
Panther. The music is good.
Yeah, the
but
music
the
is
Pink
really good.
And the Pink Panther movies were ridiculous.
I can't even remember Pink Panther.
No, they weren't a cartoon. It was like that was not good. That was not good movie, Mr. Walker. You like them movies?
Not recall. I couldn't watch TV because my grandmother used to be like,
the only thing good about the Pink Panther is the music.
Yeah, the music was good. We was working out.
You start dropping it like in
yeah.
thinking and twerking and
everything.
I know
No,
you
we be
did.
hula hooping.
Oh, y'all hula hoop. Oh, okay.
I mean, on your arm, on your neck. Boy, you be really like working out with the hula hoops.
Really?
Hula hoops ain't no pump. Yes.
Hula hoops ain't no punk.
Hula
Okay.
hoops ain't no pump.
Okay, D.
Okay, come on.
Okay. We ready for Hold on.
We can't do nothing but the thing.
No, because this question of the day, I really don't think is going to take a lot of time.
Okay.
I have really quick mental health and illness in the news. Have you ever been fussing at the kids or the grandkids and it seemed like they space off and you start fussing at them like, hey, are you listening to me? I need you to pay attention. Who are you ignoring? Has that ever happened?
I've done that when I was younger with the children.
Okay. Well, guess what?
Because my grandkids do not get in trouble from honey.
Well, research has shown that constant processing is not good for the brain. It's okay to space off for a little bit.
I do that all the time.
I know. That's why I'm telling this story today. Because, I've been doing my neuroscience trainings. I'm in all new neuroscience trainings. It allows for consolidation of information. So when you are, and I am guilty of like talking to and fussing at my kids and they would, are you listening? When you are giving them a lot of information, they might have to take a mental break to consolidate the information so they space off.
Okay, did we do that as children?
Oh, I wasn't allowed to do that.
Hell no. So why the hell they doing it now?
Well, you got a point.
Yes.
Keep fussing at your kids when they do that. Because you teach your kids, you do teach them to stay focused. But there's the risk that they're not going to totally consolidate all the information that you are delivering to them while you're fussing. It's going to be hard to tell if the kid is consolidating information or they just tuning you out. Because they like, shut up, I don't want to hear what you got to say. So I'm just going to space off. But no, as a kid, no, my mama, she didn't play that. You don't space off while you getting lectured.
And you stand there and you listen. And even if you don't understand what they're saying, yes, ma'am.
And my mama's
Yes,
lectures would be so long. She would lecture and then leave the room. but we could not leave the room after she left the room, because if you left the room and she came back in the room
she done
with
thought of
her
some more
with
stuff.
her hand on her hip, and let me tell you another thing, and you wasn't there.
Double trouble.
And so it was always a little bit of anxiety. Can I leave? Can I not leave? Like, how long do I wait? I don't think she's coming back. I think it's safe to leave. Like, she hasn't come back. But yeah, we would just stand there in case she had, let me tell you another thing. And there was no consolidating information. You just stood there and stared and like, yes, ma'am. So, all right, let's get to our question of the day. I've fallen in love with my therapist. Should I tell him in the hopes of possibly starting a relationship? As the D and I have said, this happens. Woo, does this happen? Okay, here's the thing about this. It's not so much that you have fallen in love with your therapist. It's
Exactly.
more so about the idea of him that you have fallen in love with. Because think about it. A male therapist, this is a person that you are going to see. He's empathetic. He communicates
He's
well.
listening well.
He-
Actively listening.
Actively listening. He communicates well. He's understanding your feelings. Like, it's almost a nurturing relationship. And so what happens is sometimes when a person is being drenched in all of that, it makes them think about what a wonderful partner that person would be. But it is not about your therapist. It's about the qualities that he possesses.
Exactly.
And that's what you have to think about.
And
is-
don't let him be fine.
well, then it's
that would
kind
help
of about
it.
the therapist. If she's, yeah,
It's both of them.
it's a combination of the two. But you know what I have explained, this hasn't happened to me but maybe once or twice, and what I explained is what happened once with a client and once with somebody who wasn't a client, but I still was like, let me get rid of her by explaining this to her. And so what I explained is it's not me, it's like traits and qualities and the nature of our relationship. And so the positive side of you having these thoughts is that you just have identified what you want in a partner.
And you have, yes.
But you don't want it from me.
No, you want it from someone else.
You want it from somebody else. And so that part is wonderful. Okay. Now, let's talk about who is vulnerable to experiencing this. Female clients who have a history of abusive or unhealthy relationships, and they just have not had a lot of interactions with a male that is so empathetic and nurturing and supportive and all of that. And so it catches them off guard, because female clients who have had healthy relationships with men, healthy relationships like with just male figures, period, they're not so likely to get swept up in all of that and start thinking that it's about the actual therapist. Okay. And so that's my thought on that as far as who's vulnerable to it. As far as should you tell him, you gonna get kicked out of therapy if you because
Yes, you will.
because for the therapist, the possibility of you being able to continue to see that therapy is going to be contingent upon whether or not the therapist assesses that this is a distraction from your treatment. If the therapist is like, oh Lord, she thinks she thinks she's in love with me. I'm trying to help her with her depression and she's sitting over here craving me.
Wearing her titties all out. I say that word.
No, D, we have told you so many times you can't say the T word.
Okay, her breast.
I can't believe you said that word. I can't believe you said. Oh,
Can I get a list of words that you cannot say, please? I don't cuss.
Oh my God.
So I thought it'd be like really, really easy. I'm not saying
D,
any
you are
cuss words.
determined to say that word. Do you know how many times you have said that word on the show? We are destined to get in trouble at some point for you saying that.
And they trying to get my money now.
The censors are still working on that last one that you got us in trouble with. That's why they ain't even got around to these later shows. But but if the therapist
They start
addresses
dressing
it,
provocative.
yes, it can happen. Seriously, like coming to therapy way overdressed. Like,
Whole face made up.
what's going on? Why you got your pumps on and
Her red heels.
it's time for you to see somebody
Red
else.
heels.
It's time to see somebody else because we've talked about this. I thought you got it. You clearly have not gotten it. I need you to see somebody else. Don't tell the therapist thinking you're gonna end up marrying your therapist because you're not.
And you're still not. Even if you go to a different therapist, it's still not going to happen.
Right. The therapist will lose his license for engaging in inappropriate conduct with you.
Exactly.
So, no, this isn't he can just stop being my, because that's what people always say.
That's
well,
what they
he can
think.
just stop being my therapist. No, he can't. And I'm not going to say this.
I mean, yeah, he can't stop being a therapist.
But he ain't going to be able to date
with
you. He is not going to be able to date
you. Are off limits.
Different disciplines have different rules around this because all therapists are either psychologists, clinical psychologists, clinical social workers, marriage and family therapists, and counselors. Now, for clinical social workers, they're never allowed to date a client.
No.
Ever. I believe psychologists have a time frame that I don't know if it's 7 years or 10 years, but here's the thing. People are not trying to have these kind of problems with their clients. I don't even know any psychologists who are like, I waited 7 years and then I married one of my clients. What? No. So, I let it go. Do not get your hopes up that you're going to be riding off into the sunset with your therapist, because you're going to be riding off into the sunset by yourself and scheduling with another therapist because you're going to get fired. Now, this also happens in other ways. And think about this, D, because I bet you have experienced this. Oh, yes. When it comes to relationships, this can happen not only on a romantic level, but it can happen on a parental level. Because therapists are also, they can tend to be parental. And so
That's true.
a lot of, and really I think this is way more common, because I've only had like one incident of an actual client experiencing this, but tons of clients. And this is something that me and another couple of therapists was talking about, because they said, how do I keep ending up everybody's daddy? Because you a therapist.
I know that happened one time because he was calling me to get him out of jail.
That's a kid who I ain't seen him since he was a kid. But we had a kid that I worked with at the center. He dang near 40 years old. And as far as he's concerned, I am still like a father figure for him.
I have a lot of those. I mean, literally, I have to almost make my Facebook page private.
Because we're not supposed to have any clients on Facebook. Yeah. And so, which is a recent rule in the past like 3, 4, 5 years. But that is what is most common, because this is a person that you are going to and you are opening up and pouring out all your, and for people who do not have a good, strong relationship with their actual father or mother with the female therapist, yes, the therapist is going to be parental. I actually have not found that to be much of a problem, so long as the therapist is aware, and the therapist has to make sure that the therapeutic relationship remains intact. Because the problem with, if you just give in and flow and allow it to just be a parental type of relationship, there's things that people don't tell their parents.
Exactly.
So then your client is now worried that they're going to disappoint you and worried they're going to upset you, and they start keeping secrets because now you they mama more than you they therapist. You they daddy more than you they therapist.
It's not
And the therapeutic
anymore.
relationship is gone.
Exactly.
And so what you have to do, which is the same thing you do with your actual kids, because with your actual kids, when they become adults, you want to have that, always are going to have that parent-child relationship, but you kind of want to establish a relationship where your adult kids feel comfortable coming and talking to you about things that are embarrassing, things that they as kids would never have told you.
Well, me and my children was always pretty open.
They tell you right.
Some things I didn't want to hear.
And that has probably helped you, though, to be able to work with kids, knowing that they are beginning to see you as a mother figure, but still keep that open communication that is a part of a therapeutic relationship. Because you were able to get your kids to be open like that with you. And so, and that's something that...
And still we're not their friend. I'm not your friend.
Because that's the third area or third type of relationship that this can occur, is when the clients begin to see their therapist as a friend, and they start inviting you to like
to the cookout
stuff. Yes,
going to the club.
They like you ought to come over for Memorial Day. I'm not able to come over for Memorial Day. I'm your therapist. Like,
exactly.
I can't be your homie from around the way. But these are the three types of relationships that people have. If they have a history of struggling in these areas, in their romantic relationships, in their parent-child relationships, or in their friendships, which everybody has had problems with some friends, this can happen, and the therapist is responsible for maintaining a therapeutic relationship. I don't think therapists can help clients looking at us as a mother or a father, but you just have to be sure that, and what makes it easier is that the relationship starts off with them being open and telling you everything. So really you just have to maintain that. You have to be aware, okay, this client is seeing me as like a parent, and I've noticed that I'm not getting all the details that I was once getting. I might have to kick them out of therapy because they acting like I'm literally their daddy or literally their mammy, and they trying to not tell me things. Mammy, pappy. You thinking about an actual mammy? What you think about?
We might get censored on that.
We are not gonna get censored on that after you said the T word for breast. Let me tell you, when the censors listen to this show, they gonna stop at what you said, so I can basically cuss and everything right now. And so this is something, it happens. And I also think that this happens in employer-employee relationships, because what is frustrating for a lot of supervisors is like, why are these people like my kids? Why?
Especially if they're young.
Yes, like, why are they acting like kids? Why am I parenting my staff?
In a way you like it, that they do show you respect by saying yes ma'am and no ma'am, because I've been in that situation where they did respect me, but then they just was like, I'm not your mama. I didn't want to be a mama when I had to be a mama.
And it happens when you end up having to almost fuss at them like they your kids.
Once you do what you need to do, literally, I'm like, do your work like you're supposed to, and we won't have this problem.
At that point, you are parenting these grown employees.
Grown employees, exactly.
And so this is common. So for those of you listeners and viewers who are on the client side of this,
what was that thing that we did when we did a whole lot of yawning? What that mean?
Oh, yawning is beneficial for you.
Okay.
It's beneficial.
Okay.
I don't remember the specific benefits, though. That was a long time ago that we covered that.
A lot.
But it's good for
But
you.
I was up watching 1923 last night. Do you watch that?
I don't know what that is. You always bring up these shows that I've never heard of that you are the only person who watches.
Okay, listen. I grew up with grandparents, so I'm all into westerns, you guys. I mean, I'm a
She
western
do love a
girl.
western.
So,
Lord,
come-
she love a
come off
western.
Come off the Yellowstones. It's 1889 and 1923. So now I'm on 1923, and I already don't sleep. So I went to sleep about 4:00 this morning.
But last week you was asking me, how you got time to watch all these shows? I'm up late at night. You was up late at night watching shows, D.
Yeah, well,
Is it a good show?
it really is.
Because I do love a good show.
I love westerns though. I'm a girl loving some good westerns. I grew up with them.
I did used to watch westerns as a kid.
Gunsmoke and
John Wayne,
John
Gunsmoke,
Wayne, yeah.
Wild Wild West was my
Wild Wild
favorite
West.
one. Loved Wild Wild West.
yeah. And these are modern day, like
But I'm more lately. She got us off track with her ADHD. Why are we talking about TV shows? It's time to wrap up the show. This is an example of how a person with ADHD the symptoms are contagious. Because she get us off track. I'd just be rolling with it like, oh, well, yeah, why are we going to talk about that? I would say this real quick. You've been watching westerns. I'm more so into those period like Bridgerton. I'm way back before the westerns.
Yeah, you are.
I'm into that period of time.
And I watched all of that. That was very good.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlotte was better than 1 and 2 though. To me.
What?
To me. Only to
In a
me.
way, it was. Actually, yeah, it was.
But it made me understand 1 and 2 a lot better though. So
True.
anyone watch 3 and then do 1 and 2.
It actually is logical to watch it in that order. All right, D. Did we cover the falling in love with the therapist thing? Viewers, if you're in a position of a client, do not be surprised if if you have a history of romantic relationship problems, you could develop an attraction to your therapist. But this is actually not nearly as common as seeing your therapist as a parent, which is really not that much of a problem. Just make sure that even if you look up to your therapist as a parent, and this is very common with teenagers, Lord, the teenagers, like, you have to make sure that you remember that it is your therapist. If you start acting like they're your parent and withholding information and that therapists can't do their job, you're going to get kicked out of therapy. Okay. And then for those who are wanting to be friends with your therapist, that's kind of common, but it's just not, it confuses the therapeutic relationship. It's kind of hard to hang out and be kicking it at the barbecue with your therapist and then showing up and talking
Hell,
about
at
your
the club.
depression and anxiety, or at the club. Like, it confuses the relationship. It's called a dual relationship, and it's not good.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, it's just not okay. So just try to maintain your therapeutic relationship. Here's the thing to think about. Therapists do grow to, I feel, to truly sincerely love and care about their clients in most
you have
instances.
to.
Because my clients are wonderful, incredible people. Like, I love so many of my clients, but like, we can't go to the club.
Exactly.
We're not going to the club. I'm not coming to the barbecue. All right, that's our show. Right. That's our show for today. Thank
and
you
don't
all.
set me up with your Uncle Lou either.
Do not set your therapist up with your raggedy Uncle Lou who got 2 teeth in front and like the rest of his teeth are gone.
Yeah,
That's not cool.
It's not good. That's
Trying to get your therapist to be like your auntie. Thank you for joining us. That is our show for today. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything 3 times a day.
Thank you and God bless.
Bye-bye now.